Hello, friends. Today we will be talking about bananas and monkeys and science experiments. Hi, friends. This is Bethany Jennings, and you're listening to We Should Talk. It's a podcast where we talk about anything and everything to encourage, equip, and empower you to be a decent human. Let's talk. So, before getting into this, let me just say I am sorry for the state of my voice. But here we are, and the episode must be recorded. So, I'm going to do what I can with my limited voice today, and we'll just go from there. So, Christmas week, we went up to see my granny in Kentucky, like halfway through the Christmas day, and then we got there the day after Christmas. And then I got sick. Onyx and I both were very, very sick. Silas ended up getting sick on the way home. But Onyx and I were extremely sick. We went to urgent care. And they did a test for everything that is testable. And we had flu B. It's a different creature this year. So we're better now. But it's just like the lingering after effects of it. Which for me includes random Charlie horses in my voice box and my throat trying to heal up as I keep coughing. I coughed up a lot of blood, so I'm trying to give my voice time to recoup. All that to say, my voice is not 100% today, so you have to listen to me sound like this. Anyways, I want to talk to you guys today about monkeys and bananas. There is a story. I will preface this by saying this was not an actual science experiment. There is a science experiment that I'm going to talk about at the end of this episode. But what I'm about to tell you was not an actual science experiment or psychology experiment. It was not an actual experiment. But this is the story. There were 5 monkeys. And they were all placed in the same enclosure. And there was a ladder in the middle of the enclosure. At the very top rung of the ladder, they placed a big bushel bunch of bananas. Now, we all know from toddler years on that monkeys love bananas. So, as you would expect, the monkeys started trying to climb the ladder to get to the bananas. Well, when they did, the experimenters would spray them with ice cold water. Not just the monkey trying to get the bananas, but all 5 monkeys, whether they were going for the bananas or not. When they tried to climb the ladder, everybody got sprayed with ice water. So eventually, the monkeys learned we shouldn't go for those bananas because we get sprayed with ice water. Well, some monkeys learned faster than others that there's a consequence for trying to climb the ladder. So when one rogue monkey would try to climb the ladder, the other 4 monkeys would drag the ladder climbing monkey down and beat him up so that he wouldn't climb that ladder anymore, because they knew if you try to climb the ladder, we all get punished. If you try to go get those bananas and get the reward, we all get punished. So that's what would happen. And every now and then a monkey would be like, oh, yeah, but the bananas. And so they'd climb the ladder, or they'd try to climb the ladder, and the other 4 would pull him down and beat him up. Well, the monkeys learned eventually, all 5 of those monkeys learned, you don't go for the bananas, no matter what. They just ignored it. It wasn't even an option for them. Climbing the ladder, getting the prize, getting the reward was no longer an option for them. The next step of this experiment was for the experimenters would sub out a monkey. So one of the original 5 monkeys who knew not to go up the ladder would be taken out, and they'd put in a new monkey. Well, immediately the new monkey, who had no knowledge of the former setup, would go for the bananas. But before he could go for the bananas, the 4 monkeys who knew better pulled him down, beat him up. And they did this with all 5 monkeys. So they would switch out, they'd take out an original monkey, put in a new monkey. And the new monkey'd go for the bananas. Nope, beat him up. And they take out another monkey and put in another monkey and try, nope, take him down, beat him up. And then the 4th monkey and then the 5th monkey. So eventually there were no original monkeys in the enclosure. There were 5 monkeys in the enclosure who had never been sprayed with ice water, but they knew we don't go for the bananas. 5 monkeys who had never experienced consequence, an outside consequence for climbing the ladder, trying to get the bananas. But they knew, if I do that, my friends are going to be mad at me. And eventually, it was just, we don't know why we don't do the banana, we don't go for the bananas, but it's just how it's always been. So with all 5 of the original monkeys out, 5 new monkeys in who had never been sprayed with ice water, none of them would go for the bananas. None of them. So what does this tell us? Right? What is the moral of this story? The moral of this story could be a few things. Number 1, you should get friends who are a little more daring so they quit beating you up when you try to better yourself and get the prize. But really, the moral of the story probably is, it doesn't have to be how it's always been. And you have the power to change that if you have the right support system. So, what if they put a new monkey in and the monkeys, the other 4, and he goes for the bananas and the other 4 monkeys don't beat him up? Well, then everyone's going to get sprayed with ice water, and that'll be uncomfortable. But what if they just push through? They push through the discomfort and the shock of the ice water, and they get the bananas anyways. Well, then what's going to happen? Who knows? Maybe they all just get a full belly. I think I have seen something similar to this in theory, metaphorically speaking, in some subcultures of our society, in that you cannot better yourself because that's just not what we do. You can't try to achieve more because that's just not how we are. Whether that's based on religion, whether that's based on race, whether that's based on gender. It could be based on a lot of things, whoever the quote-unquote we are. But I have seen throughout my entire life, people try to better themselves, and even their own family members beat them up verbally, sometimes physically as well. Beat them up verbally or physically or emotionally, because that's not what it's just always been this way. And they don't know that there would or wouldn't be a consequence for that person bettering themselves, negative consequence for them bettering themselves. But they're just not willing to chance it. It's not what we do. We've had people come to our church whose families would rather them be strung out on drugs than be changing their lifestyle for the better. And be it because they didn't want them in a quote-unquote white man's church, or be it because they didn't want them to quit participating in the illegal activities that were happening, or be it that they didn't want their family member to start living a better life because it would put pressure on the rest of the family and friends to live a better life. It would highlight the rest of their failures. But they would fight tooth and toenail to come into the church and live a better life, or they fight tooth and toenail to get an education or they fight tooth and toenail to get a car to maintain a decent job and shift the mentality for the next generation, shift the mentality for their group of friends. But there was always fight. There was always struggle to do it. And it wasn't the people of the church doing it. It wasn't necessarily the people on the new job they were trying to keep and maintain doing it. It wasn't the people at the college or the university doing it. No, it was the people in their own circle that should have been supporting them in achieving more, should have been supporting them. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Charlie was in my throat. The people that should have been supporting them in getting the prize. The monkeys that should have been helping you get to the bananas. How different would this story have been had one of the monkeys found who was spraying and broke the sprayer so the rest of the monkeys could get the prize? You understand what I'm saying? So if you are in a situation where it seems like those that should be supporting you and helping you are not, you need to take a step back and figure out why they cannot or will not support you. Is it because it makes them uncomfortable to see you change? Is it because it would limit their control on you? Is it because they fear that they will be hurt in the process? Is it because your success highlights their failures? Is it because you changing affects their status quo? It could be those things. And if it is, they may not even realize that's why they're doing it. A lot of times people who make stupid choices don't even know why they're being stupid. I'm not really sure if that's the appropriate way to say it, but they don't even realize why they're being stupid. They just are making stupid choices and everyone else is suffering because of it. So if that is the case, try to have a talk with the person. So look, I don't feel like you're supporting me, or let them know I need your support in this. That may be a better way to do it. Say, hey, I need your support in this. I would really appreciate your support. It would help me if you were encouraging me. Instead of pointing out what they're not doing, point out what you would like for them to do. For some, it is an entire culture, a drug culture or a poverty mentality or a perceived injustice on every front mentality. And for someone to have success kind of takes away their excuse as to why they aren't successful. So once again, your success highlights their failures or lack of initiative to be successful. And if that's the case, it's okay to start changing your circle. I think that's one of the things that we don't talk about very much in the church is when people come into the church, it is a whole culture shift. It is a life change because you don't even do the same things that your friends in the world and before you came to church do. Sometimes you don't even eat at the same times. Sometimes you can't do the same things after work, or your daily routine ends up changing. And that's why it's so important that we take in new converts. Or if you're a new convert, if you're fresh to the church, it's so important that you participate in the fellowship, that you find someone to connect with, because your culture is changing. You are coming into a Jesus culture, and so you need Jesus people to help you. It is difficult to climb the quote-unquote ladder of spiritual success or to reach for more than you have been shown in your life when you don't have the appropriate support system. Now, that's the story and the moral of the story. Here's the actual experiment. And people have taken this actual experiment and twisted it for whatever their reasons are. I think a lot of organizations use that story as far as, this is just how it's always been, challenge the norm kind of thing. This is the real monkey banana experiment. I don't know that it's really bananas, but it is what it says. There was actually a study in 1967, and had a very long name. It's called The Cultural Acquisition of a Specific Learned Response Among Rhesus Monkeys. RHESUS monkeys, however you'd like to say that. So, it's a very long name. So, it got the monkey experiment is what people changed it to. But in the actual experiment, the researcher, whose name was G.R. Gordon, he put a monkey in a cage with an item. It wasn't a man, it was just some random item. And he made them scared of that item by hitting them with several blasts of air. And then once the monkey learned to be afraid, a naive monkey, a fresh monkey, was placed in the cage with the scared monkey. And then when the naive or the unlearned monkey tried to go for the item, the scared monkey did not attack them like it does in the monkey banana story. What actually happened the first time was that the scared monkey, he pulled the naive monkey away. So, put a monkey in a cage, they make him scared of an item, they put a fresh monkey in the cage who doesn't know to be scared, the monkey goes for the item, the scared monkey pulls him back to protect him. And he doesn't beat him up, just pulled him back. Now they did this experiment another 3 times, and the experiment showed that the scared monkey didn't do anything. He saved the one naive monkey, but then when they would put other monkeys in, he didn't pull them away. He was scared for them, or scared that he would be hit with a blast of air. Kind of communicating, you probably shouldn't do that. But then the naive monkey touched the item, and the scared monkey didn't do anything. There were actually 2 instances where the scared monkey quit being scared after the new monkey went and touched the desired item. So not only did the scared monkey not pull him down and beat him up, but the scared monkey, once he saw that, that's not going to hurt them and it's not going to hurt me, I can join them. So, there were 2 instances in the experiment where the scared monkey was not only not scared, but he went and joined the naive or the fresh monkeys. So, maybe the moral of the story for the real experiment is, yes, perhaps there is someone who experienced a bad situation and it made them fear change, or it made them fear something specific, or fear reward, or fear bettering themselves, fear changing their lives for the better, or giving their lives to the Lord. Or yes, there may be someone who has some kind of trauma story. But when you come into the picture and you change your life for the better, when you come into the picture and you actually do get an education and you don't die, you actually do get a good paying job and you don't die, you actually do have a healthy family in spite of your upbringing, you will show those people who have been living in fear that it is possible, and your freedom from their fear will actually unlock them from the prison they made for themselves. So don't be don't be enslaved by someone else's life experience. Don't be held prisoner by someone else's fear. Free yourself from other people's fear. Let the Lord do that. Let the Lord help you. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying that change is always the easiest thing to do. I am not saying that, but I am saying it's doable. There may be some pushback from those who are not comfortable or who are even scared to see change in their loved ones. But it's okay. Free yourself from their fear, and you may free them in the process. And that is the story of Monkeys and Bananas. I hope this episode has helped you in some way to be a better human. Well, that was fun. I'm glad you stuck around for the whole thing. And thank you for talking to me today. Y'all go like and follow and review and do all the podcast things that people do. And don't forget to be a good human.